we've all got grandchildren, we all think we'd be better off staying.
Oh.
It'll help create jobs for your grandchildren.
I also have my own money as well.
Oh no, that's fake.
You have poisoned the country.
No, put tariffs on EU goods. I said it wasn't on EU goods. So none EU goods that we buy, over 12,000 of them have tariffs on.
The money we spend in this country is to EU is enough to boost the economy of this country.
I think today for us was about bringing people together.
What evidence? What we read about it?
Shove your Brexit, mate!
What's Grannies Against Brexit?
Grannies Against Brexit is me, but it seems to be that it's very popular with a lot of other people, because I keep having my photo taken by other elderly ladies.
Okay.
And we've all got grandchildren, we all think we'd be better off staying.
Okay. And your position, sorry?
Well, I'm with LeaveMeansLeave. We believe people voted, people had their say, it's time to deliver on those promises.
Okay. How would you respond to that the people have made a democratic choice?
I think nobody knew what we were voting for when we had the second referendum. I voted in the first referendum, which was many years ago. Second referendum, again I voted. I probably voted because I thought we'd be safer inside. Now that I know a lot more, I'm certain we're safer in the EU.
It's tough to debate against Grannies Against Brexit, really.
It's not tough to debate at all. All I'm going to say, look, Britain is one of the largest economies on earth. We should not be afraid of standing on our own 2 feet. We'll be able to work around the world. We'll be able to get trade deals that benefit our economy. It'll help create jobs for your grandchildren.
I'm sorry, but I think it's going to be a very long time before all that happens, because we're going to have to renegotiate all our deals, and it's going to take years and years. If people want out and to finish all this debate with Brexit, then they're making a big mistake, because it's gone for years and years if we leave.
My money's in Ireland.
Oh, fantastic! Yes, lovely. Oh, yes, isn't it great? Yes. Well, at least we're on the same side. Yes. And the good thing is that Mr. Putin gave me this money. Yes, he did. He gave me a gift as well. He gave me this little bottle of perfume to go with it, called Salisbury Surprise. I may have spilt a little, and it does stink, but it'll be all right. Yes, it'll be okay, won't it?
I also have my own money as well.
Oh no, that's fake. They're the 50 guineas. No.
50 of our finest English.
No, they're fake. They're not real. 350 million. That's real. Madam, take it. It's the real McCoy. 350 million pounds every week. Yes, it's all going to be lovely, and the good news is you can buy some private health insurance with it, because his mate Jeremy stuffed up the NHS. Oh yes.
What jokes and James?
Yes, yeah, what jokes and James indeed. Not for us, although.
How's life in Ireland, Jacob?
Yes, well, I can't stand this
Well,
kit anyway.
I'm not there, my money is.
Yes, it's a lovely. It's all going to be lovely in Brexit land. Yes, this guy thinks so too. Yes, it is. Yes, absolutely.
You're welcome to join us
Yes,
if you wish.
indeed. Which UK party are you? The racist one or the Nigel one? No, seriously, Nigel's left because you're too racist, unfortunately. No, I think that's true, sir. I'm sorry. Anyway, lovely day. Yes, have a lovely time.
Yeah, we've been making tea for Remainers and Leavers and talking to them about why they voted in the referendum and how they're feeling now, and how they think the country should move forward.
Have many people accepted?
Yeah, I think virtually everyone has. Everyone's actually been quite nice. We've had a couple of people who are very determined to find out personally where we stand on the issue. But I think as a whole, I think today for us was about bringing people together and putting a smile on people's faces on such a cold day.
Yeah, great idea. Your idea is to try and bring the Leavers and the Remainers together over tea, right?
Yeah, I think the one thing that Brits have in common is that, you know, good news or bad news, so it's like we can get together around a good cup of tea.
Yeah.
So you're a Remainer, you're a Leaver?
Yes.
Okay. Why do you want to leave? Because Britain would be a lot better off outside the European Union. We can take back control of the different tariffs that the EU puts on EU goods, so that affects our clothes, food and footwear prices.
Do you envisage yourself ever working in one of the 29 countries?
No, not really. And even when we leave the single market, I'm sure I can still go work in the country, get a visa or something, just like do with the rest of the world. We'll just be a normal country like everyone else.
Okay, and this lady, why do you want to stay?
Well, I'm a bit of an EU expert, so I'm sorry I'm not really a good one to talk about it, because we know that we have the best possible deal. We are the envy of other countries. We are very much in control of our borders, of non-EU citizens who are more than half of the immigrants who come into the country, and EU citizens are coming here because of treaty rights, and there's EU law that after 3 months, if they haven't got proof of being able to keep themselves and sickness insurance, they can be deported. The UK just has not imposed that. We're going to stand all
Okay,
by
you're
ourselves.
shaking your head there. What's your
Yes, well, I
opinion on
didn't
that?
actually say they put tariffs on EU goods. I said it wasn't on EU goods. So non-EU goods that we buy, over 12,000 of them have tariffs on. So like I said, that's food, clothing and footwear. That's affecting the prices of all of our clothes and whatever. And then on top of that, you've also got all the EU regulations. So if you put them all into one pile of A4 paper, it'll be as tall as Nelson's column. Now these regulations, a think tank called Open Europe, which is actually pro-Remain, did a study, and it's found out that these regulations cost small and medium-sized businesses, the backbone of our economy, over £600 million a week. Some of these regulations are good, don't get me wrong, and we can keep those, but when we leave, we can choose the regulations and we can do what's best for Britain. That's what's best for 28 countries. One size does not fit all.
Remember that.
Could I just ask both of you, like tonight, okay, the deal is probably going to be voted down. So the two of you, okay, are on opposite sides, but how are you going to find some way to work together to beyond this?
Well,
for yourself first.
That's going to be very easy, because when we're out, this difficulty falls away. There is no... The Brexit and Remain side are on all sides of the political spectrum. It's a thing which relates to one particular thing, which is our particularly close association, not with Europe or European countries, or our friendship with European countries, which is hugely important and vital. It's with an organisation, the European Union. Once we're out of that, in a sense that argument drops away. Politics will very likely return
I think
to normal.
I think here you are, in a sense, underestimating the issues. It will take between 5 and 10 years to extricate ourselves fully from that. And what will happen is that the process, as the process in trying to get a deal here, will continue to contaminate and antagonise and polarise politics.
Well, I agree. If we took
because you've got a particularly malignant bunch of Tory politicians, the RG people, and their plan is low regulation, low touch, reduction in workers' rights, reduction in tariffs. I'm sorry, Dominic Rabbers wrote the book. It's there. Unfortunately, what was a local affection has now become a bloody plague. Once it was contained within the Conservative body politic, it was fine. You could do whatever you wanted to one another, and it was a great spectator sport. You have poisoned the country.
No. What has poisoned the country is the Remain resistance to the declared will of the electorate in a formal referendum which all parties agreed to, and then the major parties
what
agreed
did Nigel Farage say if it was 52-48 Remain? He said, I'd fight on. As would Rees, Mogg and everybody else. Of course they would have done. When something is as close as that, there is especially when so many lies were told on both sides.
There's a difference between maintaining your point of view and trying to convert people, and actually trying to overturn a decided vote in a referendum, which is what you're trying to do.
For Britain, we want this country to get out of EU.
Yeah.
Britain has no business in the European Union. I'm saying the money we spend in this country is to EU is enough to boost the economy of this country. I'm sorry to use that language. EU has been a parasite in this country. If we leave tonight, I personally will sue EU for a refund all the money they've taken from this country.
But you know, it's not a two-way thing, because we've gotten money from the EU, so do they have to refund us for that?
For where?
The money that we've received from the EU,
Right.
structural funding.
Right.
That commission is unelected. If you want to get on the commission, you have to work for it.
Well, the European Members of Parliament,
They're elected at the moment, yes. But you know what their idea is, right? To make us a little satellite state, not just this country, but Germany. In Europe, I don't want to be a satellite state. I want whatever. I've been reading about it.
You bailed out Jaguar Land Rover.
They don't need bailing out your money. You said there was a grant Putin loves
4,500 jobs at risk at Jaguar Land Rover. Shove your Brexit. Shove your Brexit.
Just
Shove your
Brexit.
Brexit.
Bubble, mate. Just trying to pop your bubble. We haven't left yet. We haven't left yet. Do you realise how badly you agree with WTO rules? Do you agree with that? And also, do you agree with WTO?
We use them now, young lady. We use them now.
Yes, but there is why if WTO rules are so good, why does everybody want a trade deal with the EU? Answer that. Why does everybody want a trade deal with the EU?
I'm not aware of anybody clamouring.
Canada? How long did it take Canada to get a trade deal with the EU? Japan? Why do they want to do that? China? WTO rules
You're going to tell me Turkey now?
Turkey's a road.
Tell them what went on. It is a bit rude. It was a bit of a pain in the... No, I wasn't going to say that. Yes. Anyway, I've got another reputation now. That's why they're calling these fake notes BJs. Yes, who would like a BJ? Madam, we're doing... I'm sorry, yes, yeah, I shouldn't joke. Fornication is not allowed. We only procreation. How many have you got now? Have you got a football team yet, sir?
5-a-side.
5-a-side. Oh, very good. Yes, so 10. 5 on each. Yes. Oh, very good.
We don't play football in my house. No, we play lacrosse.
Oh, of course, yes, and rugger, I suppose, and croquet. Yes. Do you fence?
What's that?
I
Nanny
see.
puts up my fence.
Oh, Nanny puts up your fences. Yes, of course she does. Yes, that's right. Yes. We'll have a lovely.
Fences money into Ireland, right?
Yes, yes, sir. Would you like it? The 352 bit. I mean, yes, he's absolutely genuine. He's the real McCoy. My mate Vladimir printed them for me. Yes, and yes. Please do. There's plenty more with that cake. Yes. But don't trust this one. He's a bit of a poser. He does all the cash. Yes, it's all stashed up. It's absolutely fine. Yes, no problem. Nothing to look at here.
Trouble to cause racial divisions.
But there is racial divisions already.
It was there. Obama did nothing.
I'm agreeing, he didn't do enough.
Obama did nothing.
That doesn't mean that.
What Obama did in 8 years was to promote division in America. Obama is making Obama president in America is the worst mistake America ever done.
Racial division and the second.
No, it was Obama legacy. Obama. No, it's not. It doesn't be right. It wasn't. It was just Obama and the rest and Clinton who used blacks to get vote every 8 years. Felt that they lost power in America. Now they can't incite the blacks against. See, can you go back and check Trump history? Trump all along have been supporting blacks. You want some machine names? You guys are saying this. The media are just not fair for Trump. The smallest media, CNN, Fox News, the worst is BBC. They say us talking about Trump, that Trump will be president, Trump will not this, Trump is racist, Trump is that, Trump is this. It's not. He's not a racist. As I'm concerned, Trump is not a racist. Trump is not a racist.
Not supporting black lives and allowing them to die is not a racist.
Listen to me, Trump has not done that. No,
First of all, I don't believe the Federation will get much greater. Even though there's a core of people in Brussels and various people in Germany and France, but there is an increasingly resistant element, both in France. I mean, the French would never dare have a referendum because it would be quite close. It would be probably 40-60 to stay, maybe 45-55. As for federation, the wonderful thing about both Germany and France is even if they federated, they'd still be very French and very German.
Well, they couldn't be if they had joint major offices of state. Their economic policies would apply. How would you? It's the point. You're forgetting. This is this usual Remainer tactic of just ignoring.
I have no tactic.
I come across them all the time. The French and the German governments have said they're going to sign the treaty. There's going to be Euro districts. They're going to coordinate all their policies at the very meeting of the European Union.
I think
does that mean something or does it not?
Yes, it does, but I think it's an aspiration.
But that's the aspiration of the two major proposals.
No, it's an aspiration of certain people within those countries.
Sorry, you're ignoring
when the elections come in Germany, they will be pulled toward a greater sense of nationalism. Of that I am sure.
You see, it's totally different circumstances, but there is an analogy. You sound like the people in your 30s who thought they could deal with Mr. Hitler.
I find that offensive.
No, it's not. I'm saying it's totally different. But you say, people not.
Sorry, you're wrong there. You're wrong there. People knew from 1934 onwards. They did. I know.
Public. There wasn't the general public. They thought they were able to deal with
a large number of people in this country did. My father did when he cycled to Germany in 1934. He was fully aware of that.
That's not true of the general public. Political
The second referendum is another will of the people.
No. First of all, if there were a second referendum, Leave would win with a bigger margin. There's no doubt about that.
Well, unfortunately, there is a doubt.
No, I think there is a big doubt. I might have said, we still want to get out of the European Union. UKIP will still exist. I will still campaign for that. Is one thing. What the Remain campaign is trying to do is to overturn the actual result of a referendum by saying that by just trying to overturn it.
What's the best thing to do after tonight, both of you, in order to unite the country to move beyond Brexit? What would you say is the best move?
Well, if we had a leader in the Tory party who can actually reach across the divide of the House of Commons, that would be a start, but we haven't. And that should have happened 2 years ago. Heaven only knows. Personally, I can see all the issues with the second referendum. That's my particular choice. If you wanted to heal rifts, you would have to go for a fairly soft Brexit.
There's no such thing as a soft Brexit.
Yes, there is.
It's like being pregnant. You're either in the European Union, or you're pregnant or you're not. You're in the European Union because once you're part of either the customs union or the single market or under the ECJ, they all come together. There's no real division between them. That, for instance, is patently obvious in the withdrawal agreement, which...
I mean... What about some of the models that are talked about now, like Norway plus, Canada plus...
Well, we might as well stay in the EU if we're going to go for Norway, because it gives us none of the powers of decision and virtually all of the... you can call them advantages, but the downside or the inability to change things, except we pay in. No, I mean, you're right. You are right, which is why we have to have a second vote, because leaving is a really bad idea.
So is there any model that would please both the Leavers and the Remainers?
No, that's the problem.
It's a binary decision. You're either in it or you're out of it. You genuinely are, and this is it will be resolved. There will be bad feeling for a while, but it will die away. For instance, if we end up with the current agreement, we'll be hanging in. There'll be recriminations going on all the time because there'll be no good news coming from the European Union. The European Union is in relative decline. It's building up major problems for itself. The Poles are going to start sounding off. The Hungarians are already doing it. France's economy, it's just now joined the Athens Club of EU countries whose national debt exceeds 100% of GDP. The German car industry is causing it looks like it's causing a recession in Germany already.
That's a reduction of 4%.
That's before.
The reverse of that, just to counter that, I agree that within the EU there will always be ups and downs, it's still a remarkably robust, rich set of countries.
Well, it was to start with. So I'm not denying that.
It's got a lot richer.
Europe is fine. Europe is wonderful. We want close, very friendly intertrade and relations with all the countries. That's not the issue. The issue is the European Union, which is a supranational organisation, which is fundamentally anti-democratic because you've got an executive which makes major decisions which cannot be booted out and is never elected on a proper manifesto.
Is there any way of addressing that without leaving the EU? As in to reform the EU as he's the issues that he said?
I think, well, it's interesting that I was talking to one of your country people only the other day, and she is well bedded, as virtually anybody in Dublin is, into diplomatic corps. But it would appear that Ireland, Finland, Denmark, Sweden and the three Baltic countries are beginning to form a group within the EU. One, because they can see a southern and a right-wing group forming. So there are broadly, I would say, 3 or 4 parties within the EU or groupings that one can consider.